Can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far.
Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing a get it all done, and this is within the span of 3 days because that's usually how long it takes for me to get a lot of big things knocked out when it comes to the house. I am pregnant. If you guys missed the last video, this baby was a complete surprise, but we are starting to be more excited about it. I'm not gonna lie, I was completely stressed for the first few weeks. I already have so much on my plate, and it was just such a shock. It really didn't even seem real for the longest time, but we went and saw her and found out her gender a few weeks ago, and yeah, we're just starting to accept it. I'm gonna go ahead and put some dinner in the crock pot. This is like the easiest dinner ever, and it's so delicious. My mom and my grandma have been making this for forever. All you're gonna need is some grass-fed roast. I do think it's important to get grass-fed. Quality of meat is super important right now. A packet of ranch, a packet of au jus, and banana peppers and butter. The packet of ranch and the packet of au jus is not ideal. I usually make my own, but honestly, when you're in a pinch, things like this are so convenient, and I will keep them on hand for convenience. I did not feel like making my own, but I will put my recipes for these down below. It definitely takes a little bit more time, but if you make your own, the ingredients are a lot cleaner, which these banana peppers had the cleanest ingredients I have ever seen. It was literally just organic banana peppers and vinegar and salt, and they were delicious. We put the whole thing in there. I know that most people will put like half the jar and they don't add the juice, but we love banana peppers, so I put the entire thing. And then I cut up butter just to cover all the roasts. So I had to do 2 roasts because grass-fed roasts tend to be smaller because they're not injected with hormones. So I just covered the roast with butter, and then I cooked this on low for 8 hours. That's what it looks like when it's all done, and it's amazing. I make this whenever friends come over because it's always a hit. And then I just wanted a little bit of energy, so I poured some of this stuff. I'm not even going to try to say it, but if you know what Young Living is, you know what this stuff is. And it's supposed to be really, really good for pregnancy and your placenta. And I actually was told with my last pregnancy, I drank this all through my pregnancy, and I was complimented on how healthy my placenta was. So I've never been complimented on that before, so I definitely believed that it worked, and it's supposed to help give you energy, so I will take anything that will help you get energy. And then I moved the kids into our homeschool room. Today we weren't going to actually homeschool, like do their schoolwork, but we were going to do our devotions. We try to do our devotions and Bible reading every day. It's really important to me, and I actually found a devotion that you can do with your kids that is like 4 kids, and you choose their ages and you get to do it together, and it's by Not Consumed, and I will link them down below. We have been loving the study. It's about siblings and loving your siblings. My kids fight all the time, so I was hoping that maybe this would help. As you can see, Auden's cover of his Not Consumed devotional book looks a little different than the other kids because his is for his age. But we start out reading in one of our Bible story books. We have a bunch of these. It's just a bunch of different Bible stories from the Old Testament and New Testament. They are the same stories, but each one is written differently because they're by different authors. So this is the third one that we've read, and the kids really like it. They think that the drawing is super funny because the drawings are pretty strange. And they love it. So I'll also link this book down below and the ones that we've already finished. But it's good to repeat the stories. Ashton likes to always be like, I already know this story, and he likes to fill in the sentences if he can while I'm reading them. Allowed God to use him to save their lives. You never know how God will use you to help your siblings. Will you be so busy staying mad at your siblings that you won't even see how God is asking you to help them? Did he forgive his brothers when they came?
Yes.
Yeah, he said it. I forgive you for selling me into slavery. Okay, so up here it says, draw Joseph's story. So I'm going to go get the crayons, and you guys can draw Joseph's story. Oh, from that's when there was the famine?
Yes, Pharaoh was selling food, and he forgave his brothers even though they sold them for slavery.
Yeah. Good job.
Mommy, are we not doing do the fruit spirit?
No, it's a different one now, remember?
Self-control. Against such things there is no law. Galatians 5:22.
But they who wait for the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. Isaiah 40:31. So what you just saw was a little wooden box full of scripture verses. I got this from a small shop on Etsy. I love everything she does. I actually have a few pieces of her homeschool stuff, but they just want to memorize a verse every week, and this is the perfect way to do so. She has it set up in a really cool way, and of course I will link that down below as well. But the kids were learning a new scripture verse this week, and that was the one that we were reciting together. They haven't memorized that one yet. But after I did their devotions and everything, I had so much laundry to do. I always have a ton of laundry to do, even though I'm always doing it. I don't really know how that makes any sense, but it's true. So I just went in Eve's room. I think Elowen was down for a nap at this time, and the kids were just finishing up some stuff in the homeschool room that they can do without me, and I got started on some laundry. This was pretty much the last big task that I did, but I wanted to show you guys what the roast dinner looked like afterwards. I just made some rice and some Parmesan garlic green beans to go with it, and it was delicious. It was a hit as always. We always love that meal. And then the next day, I didn't start filming until lunchtime, but I was gonna make the kids some lunch, and they wanted turkey sandwiches with mayonnaise. So I make my own mayonnaise, and every time I mention this, people are like, how do you do that? So I thought I would just show you guys how. It's so easy. It's just an egg, Dijon mustard, apple cider vinegar, salt, and avocado oil. And I'll put the exact measurements down below. I don't really measure anymore. I mostly just eyeball it, but this is how you do it. And then you just take an immersion blender. I think an immersion blender is super essential to have in your house. I actually use mine all the time. If you cook a lot, you should definitely get one. I'm not going to link the one that I have down below because honestly it sucks. My mom actually got it for me as a wedding gift. So we got it 8 years ago. And there's like a safety button on it, which is really annoying because you have to use 2 fingers to use it. So my mom even was like, oh, I don't like your immersion blender. I'm like, Mom, you literally got this for me like 8 years ago. And she did not remember that. But it's important to hold your immersion blender down at the bottom for a while until it starts to get really thick. And then when it starts to get really thick, you can start moving it up and down. I like for my mayonnaise to be on the thicker side, so I'm really intense about this part.
Down just because you are shining way more than the other could. And the best part is that you're still so humble about it. 'Cause you know it's important. This time it's all different. You got every little.
I'm showing you guys the turkey breast that I use on the kids' sandwiches. You can get this at Costco, and it's really good ingredients. We don't really buy deli meat. We use stuff like this instead. And today, I think Ashton was at his grandpa's house, and I only had Eve and Auden and Elowen, but I think Elowen was napping because I only made a sandwich, but my kids eat half. So I made sandwiches for 2 kids. But I'm pretty sure that's where the other kids were. It's kind of hard to remember. And then I showed you guys the chips that we use. These are like a healthier alternative to Pringles. They're still not healthy, but they do have better ingredients than Pringles, and my kids love them. We don't have them all the time, but I definitely get them as a special treat for the kids every once in a while. And then I just did some grapes on the side, and I used my little grape cutter, which I will link that down below because it's amazing and I love it so much. I'm really bad at these transitions, but I keep doing them, and I'm gonna keep doing them until I get good at it because I want to be better at them. I love when people do it and it looks so like crisp and perfect. One day I will get there, just not yet. I needed to clean up the kitchen a little bit after that. I think I went and got dressed because I was wearing my PJs. But I was using this little wire organizer. I organized my bread box, which is what we use for our charging station, a while ago. Oh, and I'm showing you guys my favorite pregnancy book right there. But yeah, I organized this bread box a while ago, and I got those wire organizers off of Amazon. And my life has been so much easier since. I wish I got them a long time ago because it was always such a pain to charge things. But those are so amazing and I love them. Also, ignore that picture of the oranges in the background. I really need to have that hung in my kitchen. I'm just waiting for Josh to do it, so I've just been keeping it there. But I know it looks kind of funny because I have the paper towels in front of it. But one day it will be hung in this kitchen and it will look super cute.
Not different. Go on, blow up your ego, your undying ego.
Okay, so I am craving a dirty Dr. Pepper. I'm sure you guys have seen it all over the internet, but I do love real Dr. Pepper, but it's so bad, and especially when I'm pregnant, I try to be more healthy. So I got the Dr. Goodwin, which is like the Olipop version of Dr. Pepper. It does not taste like Dr. Pepper, but it's still really good. And I guess you could say it's similar. It's definitely not like a perfect dupe of Dr. Pepper. So I start with that. And then I'm gonna take some of this organic half and half instead of the coconut creamer. The coconut creamer, y'all, like the ingredients, just read them. They're really bad. So, and then I'm gonna put some coconut syrup to give it that coconut taste. But yeah, I'm gonna use this coconut syrup to give it that coconut taste. And I'm gonna do like 2 pumps of that. I'm not gonna add lime because the lime is too overpowering to me, but it tastes perfect to me this way. It's so good. and it was already snack time, so I was just going to cut the kids up some pears and give them some of these Annie's bunnies, which is another thing that we don't usually have. Annie's is really smart with their marketing, and a lot of people when they're first entering their organic journey thinks that Annie's is a good alternative, but it's not. My favorite cheese crackers to get is like the Simple Mills cheese crackers or the Made Good cheese puffs. I would steer clear of these, but we were at Sprouts, the kids saw them, and they wanted some, so they're okay for every once in a while, but I would just encourage you to be an avid ingredient reader. And my parents actually ended up surprising me a couple minutes after I made the kids a snack, which was amazing. So we just ordered some Italian food in, and we spent some time together, so I didn't have to make dinner tonight. So this is the next morning. I started off with doing my devotion, and I also had this little devotional. My friend Kelsey, who has the podcast, she told me to get this. It's a study of Genesis chapter 1 through 11. So I really wanted to make sure I started off doing that. And then after I did that, I went ahead and took my supplements. Some of my supplements are different. I have to take this grass-fed beef liver right now because of my pregnancy. I am anemic. Since becoming pregnant, I've taken that prenatal for 4 years. I take some magnesium glycinate, some B12, and then I take some sea moss, which these are the sea moss gummies, and I wouldn't recommend them just because, you know, there's extra sugar and stuff like that in these. But honestly, I cannot take the legit sea moss right now. Oh, and this is the iron that I have to take as well because of being anemic. But I cannot take the legit sea moss right now because of the texture, and this pregnancy is just not letting me do that. So I'm taking the gummies until I can physically handle swallowing the real stuff. But I will link the real sea moss that we have down below. It's a really good brand, and you can get it flavored, and there's no added sugar. So we got the banana flavor, which is really good. That's what my kids and my husband take. That's what I usually take. But right now, because of being pregnant, I can't take it. So the kids and I moved into the homeschool room today. We had to do school, and we did our devotions. And I needed to put away all of the little Sleepy's laundry that was hanging. Well, it's not just little Sleepy's, it's just my bamboo clothes in general. But I told the kids to just get out some of their little reader books. These are from The Good and the Beautiful, which is the curriculum that we use. And it's a faith-based curriculum. We love it. I guess I've been using it for almost 3 years now, which is crazy to think about that because it doesn't seem like I've been doing this for this long. But yeah, I love it. We actually just ordered Ashton the next level in reading, so he's really excited about that because he started flying through his reading book that he has right now. We don't really do like grades. I just have my kids take the test in order to see what level they're on, and then I order whichever book whichever book goes with their level. The weather here is still so wishy-washy, and I just cannot wait for summer. I have never felt like this annoyed that it's still chilly outside. And I got like a notification on my Facebook from memories from a year ago, and we already had our water float out a year ago, and the kids were playing on it. So I know it had to have been hot outside. So I'm sad that it's still not hot. It's still like in the 60s. It's like 62, 63, sometimes 58, and I'm just like, can you please just hurry and get hot? Like I told you, I am always doing laundry, so here I am putting away even more laundry. And you can see that in Auden's room, this is Ashton and Auden's room, but the little handles are missing off of Auden's drawers because he's our rough little guy. And then these top two drawers are Ashton's because he's taller, and all his handles are still intact. And then in Eve and Elowen's closet, I have things set up a little differently, which I don't even know what I'm gonna do now that we're having another girl. I don't know where I'm gonna put her stuff. But I have things set up differently, and I have like little cubbies, and that's where I keep a lot of their clothes. But I think I'm gonna have to get a dresser of some kind before our next little girl gets here. We've discussed maybe moving into a bigger house because I really want to keep my guest room. I don't want to change it into another kid's room, and then we have the bonus room upstairs. But Josh and I have all of our workout stuff up there. We have a whole different family area up there, a TV up there where we like to have movie nights. And we like to send the kids upstairs sometimes when we just want a break. We just tell the kids to go upstairs and play video games, or they can go upstairs and play with the toys up there because we have different toys upstairs than we do downstairs. So I just don't really want to lose those spaces. So we're not 100% sure with what we're going to do yet, but our family is just getting so big, and as the kids get older, they're going to want their own rooms and their own spaces. So I'm just not sure what that is going to look like yet, but just pray for us during this transition, because it's a transition we didn't even know that we would have to go through. I'm still honestly struggling with it a little bit because I'm just so overwhelmed by my day-to-day task already. I've been asking God for strength and to help me through it because it's honestly overwhelming. I'm overwhelmed. After I put away all the clothes, I came back in the homeschool room, and I wanted to show you guys Auden doing this little Melissa and Doug letter word thing. Ashton has had this since he was like 2 or 3, and I love it. Kids feel really smart when they can like match up the letters to the words, and so he loves doing this. I'll link it down below too, of course. I love whenever we have like cute wooden pieces for homeschool. I just think they look so aesthetic.
I pull into your driveway, it's a Saturday night. You look like $1,000,000 wearing that dress I like. You're smiling, but there's something missing in your eyes. Girl, I can tell that you have something on your mind. But I will make you forget all your sorrows. Let go like there's no tomorrow.
That's a miss. So I just said it, and then I thought it was not. Pause. This. Good. Restless. Miss. Necklace. Lost. His. Puff. Hill. Will. I am Jan. I am glad. I pray to God. I pray as I play. I can pray as I am sick in bed. I can pray for help.
Good job.
Can Jan pray for help? Is Jan glad? Yes.
Okay, y'all, we are on to the last recipe of the day. I just took some washed rice and I put 2 cups of the rice, and then I put 3 cups of my homemade chicken broth, some salt, and some butter. You're gonna need some rice for the base of this recipe because we are making a sushi bake and it's so delicious. I'm also going to be pickling some red onions because I love to have pickled red onions on the side, and it's so easy. I use a recipe from the Minimalist Baker cookbook, and she just makes it so simple. I will put the exact measurements down below, but I think it was like half a cup of warm water, so I already had that in there, and then I think it was half a cup of red wine vinegar. And it doesn't look like it's enough liquid after you put that in there, but it is if you use a whole red onion, and mine was like medium, it wasn't even small. It was enough liquid, But I wanted to do this first, like after I had the rice on, because I wanted them to be able to ferment for as long as possible. And then I think I put 2 tablespoons of sugar, and this was a mix of coconut and maple sugar because those are the main sugars that we use in our house. And then I just mixed it up with a fork, and I shoved all of the onion in there. And these are so good after you, like, I let these sit out on the counter until we ate dinner, but of course then I put them in the fridge, and they last in the fridge for like 2 weeks, I guess, is when they have the best flavor. But they do taste the best if you leave them in the fridge overnight inside of this like little marinade. But I didn't think about wanting red onions until literally when I was making dinner. I was like, ooh, red onions would be really good on the side of this. So if you think about it ahead of time, try and make them the night before. And then I wanted to make some kind of veggie salad to put on the side. So I cut up this cucumber. I used half of the English cucumber, and then I cut up half of a yellow pepper because a yellow pepper is my favorite. It tastes the best in my opinion. It's the sweetest. And then I just made up a sauce. I use the same sauce every time I'm trying to like think of a yummy marinade to put over vegetables, but it's so good every time, so I go ahead and I do it every single time. I don't have exact measurements. It's definitely something that you put in the ingredients and you taste it as you go to see what you need to add. But I always start with some olive oil. This is a really good brand from Italy, and you can get it at Costco. And then I use a white wine vinegar. This one's from Whole Foods, and it's super good and really good quality. And then I'm going to use some of that Dijon mustard. This is honey Dijon mustard from Sprouts, and it's the best. Me and the kids love this stuff. We always have so many on hand because it's amazing. This is what I put on the kids' sandwiches like a few days ago. And then I put some maple syrup for sweetness. And after I mixed it up together and I tasted it, I did add some more random things to it. So it's definitely a taste it and, you know, adjust as you go. And then when I had the sauce tasting like I wanted, I went ahead and I poured that over the veggies so that could sit and marinate while I did the rest. I did remember to thaw my shrimp this morning for this and thaw my salmon. I don't like running shrimp under cold water. It just changes the texture of it. So I'm really happy when I do remember, but I definitely am one that has to run it under cold water sometimes. But I was really happy that I remembered. And then I ended up using 3 pieces of this salmon. This is the wild caught Alaskan salmon that you can get from Costco. And I think I used like half a bag of the wild shrimp from Costco. But you can use pretty much whatever seafood that you want. I just decided that I wanted this last minute because my friend Kelseys sent me a video of someone making a sushi bake, and I was like, yep, I'm going to make one tonight. But I always have salmon and shrimp on hand. Like, those are our 2 seafoods that we always have because we eat them at least once a week. So I went ahead and did that. And then I made a marinade. So I just did some of that homemade mayo. And then I added some sriracha to it. This is an organic one from Sprouts. It has really good ingredients. And then I added some toasted sesame oil, which this is also from Sprouts. I get a lot of my groceries at Sprouts because it's really good prices. If you live in the South, you know what Publix is, and that's probably your go-to. But Sprouts is honestly better quality, and it's cheaper than Publix. And then I'm going to put some organic rice vinegar in here as well. This is another thing that you also have to taste because I don't measure it either. I did end up mixing it, tasting it, and then I added some maple syrup. I just like a hint of sweetness in pretty much every sauce that I make.
Though I want your touch, baby, you're so high, stay. I don't mind a little crazy, but baby, you're so high, stay. We don't need to go on a fast. I need this night to last. So
I sprayed a pan with some avocado oil before I added the rice you're going to add the rice that we made earlier, and you're going to add enough to fill up like half of this pan, or I don't even know if this is called a pan, but whatever, until you get like half of it. And I'm like pressing it down too, because I like for it to be kind of uniform. And then usually I have like the big sheets of seaweed, but I didn't have that, but I did have like the little snack packs in my pantry, so that's what I used. I had a teriyaki one and an original one, and it actually turned out super good. I loved it, and we had enough snack packs left over that we got to have some on the side of the sushi bake as well. And then after you do that, you just add on the salmon and the shrimp. I did put some of the marinade in the salmon and the shrimp already, and I didn't film it on accident, but that's just another thing that you put just as much as you want on it. It doesn't have to be an exact science. And then you have the oven on 450, I think. Look down below, because I'm going to put the actual recipe down below. And then you only cook it for like 10 to 15 minutes, and I think I cooked it for 15 minutes. But yeah, this is the end of the video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and got some motivation from it. I'm going to try to link everything I said that I was going to down in the description box. I'm also going to put my Instagram if you want to follow me and keep up with me on there. But thank you guys so much for watching. And if you guys have any prayers, requests that you want me to pray for you and write you down in my prayer journal, please comment down below, and I will be sure to add you into that. Thank you so much for watching.